Hello, welcome back to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I am a little out of tune with what I was doing last entirely because I was recording a big blitz and get everything done. And then I got sick. And being sick kind of like threw me. I'm like 95% healthy today. So we're figuring it out. I'm in the process of it. Let's go hunt a great Roggy. Where are we at? Oh, hi, guy. Say, kid, your hunting streak is the talk of the village. I reckon it's about time I felt you. Okay, I don't need to know about decorations. Basically, they're like slots in any RPG you've ever played, except for instead of you put the decoration in and you instantly get the ability, you get like the kind of a bonus to a skill. And typically it'll negate another skill as well. So you see here like paralysis 3, stun -1, and then as you accumulate points in a skill, it can activate, and sometimes they have different levels of activation, right? So there's one, let's say, if I can find it, it doesn't matter. Yeah, there we go, I think, right? No, I just saw Ian. Anyway, so there's an earplugs option. And earplugs lets you not react to the loud sounds that monsters make when they scream. And while that is very useful, you have to do it at different levels. So I think it's like 5 or 7 or something is like earplugs 1. And then you need to get it up to 10 to get high quality earplugs, which makes it so that you don't react. Now, there's other ways to deal with that shout. You can block it, and it is possible to perfectly dodge it. It is a very finicky dodge. It requires you to react near perfectly, but it is possible. And once you get in the habit of it, I have been told you can consistently pull it off. I've genuinely never kind of like just sat down and tried to practice the timing. I've never even looked into the timing, if I'm being completely honest. It's an embarrassing as someone who's probably played over 10,000 hours of Monster Hunter, if not more. I've never been like, what is the right timing to dodge like roars? I've pulled it off a few times. Sometimes unintentionally, sometimes I'm like, oh, I think this is it, and then it happens. There's also tons of times where I try and do it and it's not a thing. Now, what could be the case too, and I don't even really, it doesn't matter to me if it is the case or not. I'm just thinking out loud. But I imagine it's variable between monster. So this type, you know, can be dodged within this window. This one can be dodged in this or whatever. Lots of variables to consider. Since this is the first time we're encountering Great Roggy, it may very well be that we get a cutscene. I haven't gone through the village quests of 3U in a while, so we'll see. Huh. I think I've just come to realize that there's a dead pixel on my monitor. That's sad. I've had this thing for... Oh, man. This is actually a monitor I have had for a fair number of years, actually. Because I just realized today I've been in my career now for about 5 years. Or it's over 5 years now. So I've had this monitor about the same length of time. And now here's the thing, you know, it doesn't, my age isn't important. But I started working when I was 13. That was my first job when I was 13. I got a job working in a kitchen, specifically in a retirement home. Now, here's the thing in Canada. The legal age to work is 14 for a fair amount of jobs, but there's an exception made for kitchen jobs. Now, as far as I'm aware, I think there's 2 exceptions actually. I think you can work if in a kitchen at any age, if your family owns the restaurant, is present while you are working, and accommodates you with a mitigated wage, because you don't have to pay taxes, or you have to pay a very minimal tax on the wages of young people. So I think that's one of the caveats. The second is if you are 13 instead of 14 and you have parental permission, you are allowed to work in a kitchen at 13. And that's what I did. So I started off in a dish pit, and I have not kept up with working in a kitchen. I did for a long time, actually, because I got fired from that first job. I was there for, I think, 4 years. I did dish pit, and I did prep. I did a little bit of line. I did some serving, you know, like buffet stuff as well. So I got a fair amount of experience. It was my first job, so I didn't recognize like the standard that I was being trained to. And then when I went to work at other restaurants, I really learned like, ooh, I was getting a good education where I was. I did not know how bad it was other places. And I don't mean that in a way that's like a denigration of the industry in whole, although it would be fair to say because like there's lots of places where, whether it's motivated by laziness or the legitimately challenging margins, a lot of the time. Ooh, that sucked. You can get into a position where, you know, cutting corners becomes standard practice. And while I understand the impulse, right? Like kitchen work is sweaty and hot and exhausting. It can take long hours. And there's lots of downsides to it. Actually, I would say there's very few upsides, unless you're passionate about it and you enjoy achieving success in that world. I would say there's very little for someone else to get out of that, because it's usually not very well paid. You're not usually very appreciated, even if you should be. You know, even like I've worked in fast food, right? And it wasn't my first job. It was between my second and my fourth. I've had a lot of jobs actually, which is why it's so interesting that I've stayed somewhere now for like 5 years. Is I tended to like learn a lot of things and swap around and try out a bunch of different stuff. And while that was interesting, it has downsides. Anyways, so I think it was between my second or fourth job I was in fast food. I won't name the place, but we'll just say there was ice cream involved. And yes, those machines do suck. Especially if you're in a place like, I didn't work at McDonald's, we'll say that. And my heart goes out to the people who do, because that just like, while it seems like a well-oiled machine, it just seems like an incredibly challenging role as well. But no, I wasn't there. I was in a place where the ice cream machines were much more relevant. And you couldn't just be like, oh, the machine's broken, we're cleaning it right now. Because that's like 80% of the reason that someone would go to the place that I worked. So it was much less acceptable to just be like, oh yeah, no go. Couldn't do that. And the thing is like, because of that, maybe the machines like had more upkeep to them. I was gonna say, this thing, like, in my head should be dead already, but I have such a weak weapon that I'm probably just, you know, dealing with this odd circumstance where I'm very weak. Oh, this guy's like hit into a rock, so we're not getting him back. That's fine. Wow, I'm so sad about this dead pixel on my screen, because it's like just right there in the middle, and it's like green, but it's just the one dead pixel. And I think it must have happened today, because I can see it, like, even now I'm overly fixating on the dead pixel. It's like flicking back and forth between working and being dead. So like some colors are fine and others it's like, I don't got it, sorry. Anyways, lots of jobs, lots of kitchen things, but I worked a line cook job. I took a prep cook job. I did another dish pit position because I was once in a not lovely financial situation where like I just needed to make some money. So I took a dish pit job, even though like they hired me as a line cook, but then they're like, oh, everybody has to do a few months in the dish pit before they even get to do their real thing. And like, I get it, but it sucked because I had more experience than a lot of the people there at the time. I'd done like 4 years, I'd worked up through their roles. So I was just kind of like, I understand you need to bring new people up to standard. I'm not a new person, so my ego got in the way there. I didn't like working up from the bottom again. And then it was frustrating too, because I had grown up with such a nice standard that when I was in that role, I really recognized the things they weren't doing. Like, they had a horrible sink system. They would clean things, like they would store their pans on the line in a dirty milk crate. And then they bring all those like spent pans to the dish pit in that crate, which is fine in and of itself. You know, you gotta put stuff somewhere and you use a lot of pans when you're working in a kitchen. I get that. But then they would take the crate back as soon as you emptied it. And like, they wouldn't let you wash it. So you would like clean the pans and then they'd instantly put them back into the crate that like held all the dirty stuff moments before. And like, they'd get grease on the outside and it would immediately, in my mind, kind of invalidate the cleaning. But nobody there, even like some of the chefs, were like, oh, that's an issue. They're like, oh, it's just fine, you know, we'll get cleaned at the end of the day or something. And it's just like, nah, man, you gotta be clean the whole way through. This is food safety. They didn't have like a 3-sink system, and I found it really disparaging to work in kitchens that didn't take it seriously, because like, you are dealing with people's health. You know, if you've ever had food poisoning before, you know it is not just like oh, you know, it's easy, it's fun, yay type of mindset. Like, food poisoning sucks. And food poisoning, if you're somebody who is like immunocompromised, or you know, potentially you're a senior citizen, maybe you've just suffered an injury, maybe you have a GI concern, or you're recovering from a surgery or something, having food poisoning, having a food safety issue compound any of those other concerns is like a huge issue. And I never liked how people didn't take that seriously. So I got out of food, but it was definitely something I did for a long time. Collectively, I've probably worked, I don't know, between 5 to 7 years in the food industry. Which isn't as much as some other people, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm a lifer or something. But it was enough to always have respect for my servers and cooks and stuff like that. Not that you really should need to work in a position to have respect for someone like that. But I think that's, you know, it's one of the issues with human empathy. We tend to, like, we don't really have real empathy. We tend to have direct sympathy to truly understand. Empathy in and of itself is a challenging thing for a lot of people, I think. Yeah, let's save. The loading is so quick in 3U, I don't really need to do cuts between that anymore. It used to be that the saving and all the loading and stuff took a little bit. But now it's like, what's the point, right? All right, let's put away some stuff. Cool. Uh-huh. Oh, cool. You have some stuff too. All right. I didn't even see him on that other fight. I bet he was there. I just didn't see him. All right, let's max out our herbs, and we can't yet get potions from the store, which I think is hilarious. And based on that fight, I would really like to get at least an upgrade for my sword here. So, okay, that's the Royal Ludroth. Flooded Forest. I don't think the Flooded Forest has a lot of, Here, let me just go hop out into... Wait, do I have a pickaxe? I have like a mega pickaxe, but if that breaks, I have nothing. Oh, hi, Village Chief. You're not the guy I need to talk to. How much is gonna... 800? Yeah, let's just buy 5 of those. All right. Now let's go see if we can get 4 pieces of iron. I think we're definitely gonna get some in what, 4? This is a nice mode. I like the fact that they let you just explore at least one area, and then you can do gathering quests for other things. I think this mode, it was kind of the early inspiration for, what is it, the Gathering Lands now in Monster Hunter World. And I actually don't like the Gathering Lands. I found it boring, overly tedious, and like, it to me is a really good example of people mistaking complexity for depth. Like, the Gathering Lands is super complex, but like, does that make it like a rewarding, deep system to be engaging with? I don't think so. I generally found it kind of boring. It's like, hunt a bunch here, and then hunting here will be more fun. And it's like, all right. I just feel like it's actually exploring, or maybe like defeating things in certain timelines, or like beating, you know, bringing challenges into the mode. Maybe like something that's a little bit more roguelike or roguelite would have been more rewarding, but as is, it just felt like it was very much added on to give something to the people who demand dedicated endgame content. And I don't know how I feel about this modern trend, you know, like that. It very much just feels and looks like a trend to me, because like the implication that every game needs to be this massive towering thing that has an infinitely repeatable objective after you beat it. Like, when you beat a game and there's something at the end that's really fun, I love that. I'm not opposed to that. You know, like the first time you beat Pokemon Gold version, and then you realize you can go back to Kanto and you can beat effectively all of the gyms from Pokemon Blue, Yellow, and Red. It's like, yo, that's some cool endgame stuff. That's a reward. But a lot of other modern things that are getting released, often with patches, just feels like hacking on busyness. And I love the core loop of a game, but I think it's also okay for a game to be like, that's it. That's the content we have. That's the story we have to tell. That's the end of things. Not that, you know, Monster Hunter is inherently a game that I think needs to have a definitive end. I just think it needs to be something more unique than that to me. Like, I really liked, I thought the Kushala, or not, is it the Kushala? No, that's Kushala Dayor. I'm talking about the big green, gold thing in Monster Hunter World. I can't really remember what it's called now. That's awful. But that was some fun stuff, like raids, air quotes. I think the issue with creating end content in Monster Hunter is you can never really hit a satisfying point with it. And the more you add on, the more you just kind of endlessly tease that desire. Because, like, when you get to the end of a Monster Hunter game, you usually have some big elder dragon that's high rank or G rank, master rank. And defeating it is a big challenge. But once you do, you can make armor out of it. But there's usually nothing past that point. The issue I see typically is like when you're trying to create endgame content, you often Monster Hunter have to give a reward for beating that content, which is new armor, new weapons, but then you just kind of constantly, it's like anime power scaling, right? You're like, oh, I have new endgame armor, what can I fight with it? And then you get new endgame stuff, but then you're stronger than that after you get it. And it's just like, you need this infinitely growing target or enemy to fight, and then that becomes the new endgame. And then no matter how much you add, you never really get to a point where you can, like, conclude. There's never the top of the mountain. You're always one patch away from, well, now there's more. Now there's a bigger dragon. And that can be fun too. But I just think you gotta be cautious where, when does it just become a point where you should play another game or make a new game? I guess is where I get confused and or draw the line. It's like time to just let this be the top of the mountain. And then I think, like, I don't like gimmicky fights. I've never been a fan of gimmick. I just find gimmick frustrating and boring. It's like, especially in a game with a lot of freedom, right? Like if you're playing a game where half of the fights are ended through some unique interaction or having the right item or, you know, using the right dialogue, that's fine. That's the precedent. But most of Monster Hunter, you can make something work however you want to. And when you add like a gimmick to the fight, it can be a little bit like invalidating a whole approach. But it's tough to say, you know, like sometimes restrictions are good. They make you or force you to be creative. And sometimes restrictions are just restricting. And they're not fun, and you just feel the weight on your ankles where you could be running. Not a lot to be done about it, but just the reality. All right. Nice. Yeah, let's get that 432. Ah, okay. So now is the choice where it starts to diverge a little bit. I remember, like, I was in the area, I think, to get Pelagosite ore. It's like, it's an underwater ore. Ah, hello, Yokokida. You hunt well. We trade well, yes? You are just in time. A carrier pigeon come with good news. Another land wants to trade with you for Moga commodities. Okay. So... oh god. He's telling me we can trade stuff. It's great. So basically, if I have a commodity, I can put something here and it'll fill up a meter. And then if the meter is equal to the value of whatever I have selected that I want to trade for, I can get the item. Very nice. And variation from that perspective is great. Just not what I need right now. I kind of just got what I needed. Really, I just wanted a new sword. Cool. All right. Yeah, I have a little bit of sickness left, but I think I'm largely okay. So this is what matters. Now let's see. I can capture a Quirapeko, which I don't know if I need to do. Let's go hunt a Royal Ludra. And I guess at this point too, I'm like kind of just walking around without any good armor. But you know what? Let's just throw on something. Yeah. All right, we'll put on one piece of chain or armor. I'm sure that'll be good enough. I do wish I had potions, but it is what it is. I could go out and find the stuff required to get them. Like you can do blue mushrooms and herbs. Onion and bread. Nice. I wanted help. All right. Let's get out there and hunt a Royal Ludra. Oh yeah, because this is 3U, this fight might go underwater. Which means I may be approaching one of my least favorite monsters in the game, which is fun. That's kind of the point I'm at with Monster Hunter now, where if I encounter something I don't like, it's like, oh, nice, awesome. I haven't fought this thing forever. I'm not even upset by like content that I don't inherently like anymore. Even if I get frustrated with it. I think that's an important distinction to point out. I still may well get frustrated by something that I'm enjoying the challenge of. It just happens. Nice. So this pupper up here is Royal Ludra. They're not too bad. I've had to fight a lot of these relatively recently because Monster Hunter 3rd Portable, I needed to hunt the variant version of Royal Ludra, and it was okay. It's interesting how different every monster feels at this higher frame rate. It's legitimately interesting to me. I'm actually, like, I'm kind of psyched to get through to some of the other monsters. I'm also psyched to finally get to a point where I have some green on my weapon, but whatever. We'll get there eventually. I'm just trying to cut off the tail because extra carbs, but maybe this is a fight where I should just default to the head. Ow. Bro, I was gonna get out of that attack, and then the little loot drop got me. Ah, well. Yeah, to me anyways, the graphics differences in 3U on the Wii U are really noticeable. Maybe it's just the big screen I'm playing on. I don't know. But for me, it's really distinct actually from Third Portable and the first game. And I remember this way back when too, because I played the PS3 imported version of Portable Third. Now it was all in Japanese, and I didn't read Japanese. I still don't. So it was definitely an interesting effort to figure out that game. But even then, it was locked FPS-wise. And while it has some updated models, I think it even had some of the models that went into this game. They look better. Ooh, close. At full frame rate. Like, they just look really good in motion. And that's something that Capcom has always really excelled at. There's right now, there's this rumor that I have circulated in my own head that for the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter, we're going to get a console and PC release of Generations. And I really hope we do. For a few reasons. I just think it would be really cool to see that game unlocked on PC. Even if they didn't, like, change anything texture-wise, or they just did some updates, or maybe they just brought in, like, the models from Rise or something. Whatever, I don't even care. Give me the exact same game with a direct port. As long as it runs well. But I would love to get Generations on PC, because when I get there, it would be fun to capture it a little bit easier. Right now, the way that I'm going to be doing things is after this Monster Hunter, when I return to playing Monster Hunter games, I'm going to go into the 4th game. So, finishing up the 3rd generation. And the thing is about the 4th game is the 4th game was only ever released on, as far as I know, the 3DS. It's also, to my great shame, basically one of the only Monster Hunter games I have not played. Now, I bought it a few months ago, and I have it on my 3DS, and then I took my copy of the game, and I moved it over to my computer. So I just digitally backed up what I already own, but that means, you know, it's easier to record, I can put it onto a bigger screen, etc., etc. 4 runs pretty good from that perspective. I had run like the first mission or two and just played a little bit of the beginning to like figure out if it was going to be reasonable to even include it in my list of potential games to play. And it's running pretty good. And then after that, I got and imported a copy of Double Cross, which is the 3DS version of Generations. Well, it's the Japanese 3DS version of Generations. Generations is a direct English conversion of Double Cross. And it runs pretty okay as well via 3DS, like when I backed up my copy of the game. Then I added a English language mod on top of it to get, you know, a level of understanding if I'm going to be running the game. But it would be really cool to just run something natively at 1080p or, you know, 16:9 more accurately. The resolution can be whatever, but the ratio is the issue with recording off of 3DS. That all of the games you kind of have in, well, I guess it would be 4x3 chunks, wouldn't it? That feels like nearly 4x3 chunks or something like that. I don't actually know the actual aspect ratio of the 3DS. It feels much squarer because to put it in a 16:9 frame, you have to take the bottom screen and kind of have to like affix it in a corner. And then you have to put the big screen, and it's in a much different perspective. So like it all works out. But... it could just look that little bit better. The thing is I don't expect 4 to get a port like that. I think 4 is just, it's a 3DS game, and that's just what it is. But Generations has hope, right? Especially now in the midst of the hype for Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, I think if they stealth dropped a vintage game, that would win over a lot of people in between now and the release of Wilds in 2025. That's just me, though. Who knows? Either way, because I have a bit of time and a few RPGs in between the Monster Hunter games, maybe I'll get lucky and Generations will have a PC release by the time I get there. Now, if 4 gets a PC release, which I do not expect, but if it does, like I'll do that too. Like that'd be awesome. I just don't foresee it. It would also make it kind of a shame that I went out and got the game. It was like, funny enough, it was like a few days before the store closed too, because Monster Hunter 4 and, well, 4 was legally available on the digital store. Because it's a Japanese game, it wasn't on the North American store, so you have to import a copy of Double Cross to get it. Which is fine. It's just, you know, I wish digital storefronts were more open to selling non-localized titles. You know, like put a big warning or something, be like, hey, this game's not in your language or whatever. But I would have loved to be able to just buy games in Japanese from English storefronts and have them be like, yeah, bro, it's fine. Like, go ahead. As is, you usually, like, that's not even the experience you can have. And while I logically kind of understand it, I think it's a shame. You could save a lot of time and money just importing direct copies and letting people make their own choices. But whatever. We all have our own things. My ranges are off because I'm underwater. This is cool though. I haven't even seen underwater combat in Monster Hunter in a while, so I genuinely hope they bring it back in Wilds. And you know what? I hope they add air combat. Do it. Give us every direction of fighting. Give us like a glider, or maybe like we're suspended by balloons, or maybe we're fighting on the back of a monster that we can ride, or maybe our bird raptor mount has wings that we can, like, whatever. Just like, let me fight in the air. Let me dive from the top of the sky all the way down into the bottom of a pool of water and continue my fight. Like, wouldn't that be sick? You know, you're fighting some monster up in the clouds and it gets injured and it decides to run, and it just like tucks its wings, and immediately begins diving down and shoots down into the bottom of a water area or under into a cave or something. And like you have these big visual battles that take place across all mediums. I don't know, I just see that being really cool. I hope it's what Wilds is. It's not good to get overly hyped about anything, but it's also good to have hope, you know? Hope, not hype. Believe something awesome can happen, but do not require it to be happy. It's a generally good lesson. Are we fighting in the water, or what's happening? Okay, bro. I mean, this fight is nearly over, so that's awesome. Really quickly, how long have we been recording this? Oh, okay, that's pretty good. I'm out of range. These are some good hits, though. Go, get down. Get down even further. Nice. Nice. Oh. Now, I have a lot of oxygen, so I'm actually not worried about suffocating right now. Ow. Okay, knock me into another area where I can easily heal. Thank you, Royal Ludroth. Okay. Oh, this is where it's gonna go to like area 8 or something, isn't it? Yeah. I knew my guess was right, but I wanted to be 100% sure. All right. Oh, hey. I'm not one to pass down some mining. Especially not Macalite. Macalite. I don't know. Earth crystals. Nice. Oh. Okay. All good stuff. Yeah, can't pass up Macalite. That's pretty sweet. Iron ore, really good. These are, a lot of these things like earth crystals are things that I'm going to end up with a tremendous amount of, but are really useful to get a lot of early on. What sees me here that's like... Okay. It didn't leave. Alright, hi Royal Udra. I'm just gonna get in here and smack away a little bit. Alright. Cool. Nope. This one piece of armor really was all I needed though, so that's pretty fun. There we go. Very nice. Oh my gosh. Get away so I can get my car. Thank you. Cool. There we go. I don't think there's anything mineable down here. Or if there is, it's on a random chance that I didn't get. Yeah, that's fine. Nice. Hunt completed. And really can't complain about getting good stuff like that. Alright, scales, killer beetles, armor spheres, all put away. Money. Nice. Yeah, I will save my progress. Thank you very much. Hey, look at that. Kudos, kid. You really came through for us. A boat's just a bunch of planks, but it symbolizes so much more. The larger hunting fleet will keep on going for now, so you focus on guild quests and training for Legiacres. I'll make sure the first villager to spot the beast goes straight to you with news. Oh, speaking of news, the sweetheart up the quest counter wants to talk to you. Something about a new type of monster. Yeah, I thought you'd like that, kid. I've never liked being called kid. To this day, I don't like being called kid. You know, like, when you're younger, they're like, oh, the kids. You know, they refer to you like that. Hate it. Not a big fan. Never into being treated like I am young. Even when I was young. Excuse me. All right. Buy all those back. Replace the broken pickaxe. Not a lot I need there yet, though. Wow, hun, you really came through for us. I'd hug you if I wasn't covered in fish guts. Now that we've got a second boat in the hunting fleet, you can dispatch the boys to two places at once. I'll tell you, hun, the village wasn't a bad spot, but since you got here, things are really looking up. You're a champ. Now, what do you say we put my boys to good use? Yeah, I'll just send you out. I'm not gonna give him anything though. Hey, you're Moga's hunter, aren't you? Guess what? My boat's all fixed up and ship shape. I can finally get back to the mission of fishing. And it's all thanks to you hunting down those Royal Ludroth. I owe you one, pally pal. I've been worried about our goofball of a fleet captain. If something had happened, he'd just make things worse. The fleet's strength is in its numbers. At least I'm ready to fish. Looking forward to working with you, pal. The captain and me don't gotta head to the same spot either. Just leave your fishing needs to us, as the saying goes. Shut up and fish. Yeah, that's a saying. Ah, there you are, Hunter. Good timing. There's something I have to tell you. I was out patrolling the Moga Woods when I spotted a royal lutron. That's a new one for these parts. I don't know if it's on account of the earthquake or what, but the food chain of the entire forest is out of whack. That means you may start running into Royal Ludroth when you enter the woods, even if you haven't accepted a quest. Consider yourself warned and check the Moga forecast regularly. Okay. Oh wow, I can turn stuff into things. I do need to start generating some resources, but I'll do that down the road. Welcome back. Good to see you again. You sure showed that Royal Ludroth who's boss. The hunting fleet has already sprung into work, and it's all thanks to you, Hunter Cheeks. The guilds is taking notice too. I bet they'll be sending more requests to hunt our large monsters. Just watch. Oh, and get this. You've become super popular in the city. There are even plans to turn you into an action figure. Not a good one though, right? Now, let's set you up with your next hunting quest. It's a large monster wandering the sandy plains. Baroth. What kind of monster is a Baroth, you ask? Well, according to my recently revised notebook, a Baroth is a brute wyvern living in the sandy plains. Specifics are unknown. Oh, wow. You're not disheartened from that less than helpful description, are you? You expected it to not be helpful? Ugh, no pulling the wool over your eyes. I'll fool you yet, Hunter. Now, it's good to have that unlocked, but it is not what we are going to do right now. We're going to go and do this pest control quest really quick. For no particular reason. Just the Baroth is going to take a little bit longer, and I'm thinking it might be worthwhile to grind out some armor. Now, I tend to, in these Monster Hunter series, remove the grinding from the recordings. So what I might do is, if I feel like playing some Monster Hunter, I'll just go and do Flooded Forest hunting instead of completing quests. Or maybe I'll just do only a certain amount of quests, and I'll never do a quest I haven't already completed on screen though, so there's no worries about like in between videos. Oh hey, I completed all of Lowring. Yeah, oh no, I ended up doing it. Like that won't happen. More likely I'll just like if those quality sponges are 1,000 points out in or 1,000 resources, you know, maybe it would be worthwhile for me to go and hunt some Royal Ludroth in the forest, drop off the stuff. There we go. And then it would be probably to my benefit to go and do some ore grinding. So get the Pelacosite ore that I need. That's because I think I'm gonna go Buster Sword Plus with this weapon. I'm gonna do this as a full iron or metal sword build. Because whenever I find a electric monster, I'm gonna have to make a weapon of that. Electric in this game specifically is very, very powerful, because a lot of the big monsters that we have to end up fighting are water types. Come on down here, little bug. Cool. Now, not all of our great threats are going to be water types. Just the two big ones that I'm thinking of right now is going to be the monster we already know about, Legiacrus. And then there's an additional threat which we aren't aware of yet, that we will have to engage. It is, I don't know. I think it's debatable how tough that fight is. I think some people probably find it very challenging. Some people probably find it boring and slow. I think there's really all types for opinions. I would say Legiacrus is probably a monster that anyone who is aware of it misses. But not everybody is aware of it. Because Monster Hunter wasn't really popular yet when 3rd edition came out. It was popular in Japan, but it was not yet popular in North America. So when this game came out, like, I don't know how many North American fans would be really into Legiacrus or 3rd. Because I think the majority of modern fans join the series with World, which is fine. It's a good game. I love World, even if I have my caveats with it, mainly the weapon design. But good game, beautiful game, fun story, engaging gameplay. It just means that some of the older things you might not know about. And in this case, Legiacrus. But that being said, he's a really fun monster, really cool fight, really sick armor. So, you know, it'd be cool to get him back into the game, is all I'm saying. All right. Few things dealt with there, can't complain. That's gonna be this episode, so thank you for watching Monster Hunter Ultimate 3. Next time back, we're gonna keep on pushing through low rank, moving on towards bigger and better things. Thanks for checking out. Hope you have a good one. Bye for now.